In the summer of 1940, the fate of the free world hung over the skies of southern England. Every hour, hundreds of German bombers and fighters crossed the Channel, believing Britain would fall within weeks. But standing in their way was a small group of pilots, the few, flying fighters that would become legends. British air power didn't stay still. From the desperate days of 1940 to the jet-powered breakthroughs of 1945, the RAF evolved faster than any other air force on Earth. This is the complete story of every major British fighter and interceptor of World War II. We begin where the modern air war was born, the Battle of Britain. The icons of the Battle of Britain, early war. The Supermarine Spitfire is the most famous Allied fighter of the war. Renowned for its elliptical wing and exceptional maneuverability, the Spitfire was designed to fight the German fighters like the Bf 109 at 20,000 feet. Over 20,000 Spitfires were built, more than any other British fighter. It was constantly upgraded, resulting in nearly 24 major variants throughout the war. Next, the Hawker Hurricane was the true workhorse of the Battle of Britain. Built with a fabric-covered fuselage and a simple design, the Hurricane was tougher, easier to repair, and actually shot down more German aircraft in 1940 than the Spitfire. Its primary role was destroying the German bombers. It scored 60% of RAF kills during the Battle of Britain. The Hurricane carried Britain on its back when the country needed it most. The Boulton-Paul Defiant was a unique and ultimately disastrous experiment. It was a fighter with no forward-firing guns, relying entirely on a massive 4-gun powered turret behind the pilot. It was massacred by the Bf 109s and quickly relegated to night fighting. The Gloster Gladiator was the RAF's last biplane fighter to see frontline service. Though obsolete by 1940, it saw service in secondary theaters like the Middle East and famously defended Malta, proving the determination of its pilots. As the Blitz raged, the RAF needed fighters with more range, more firepower, and more versatility. The answer was a new generation of heavy fighters and night interceptors.
Mid-war heavy fighters and interceptors. The de Havilland Mosquito, the wooden wonder, was a masterstroke of design. Built almost entirely of wood, it was so fast that early models carried no defensive armament, relying purely on speed to outrun interceptors. It flew over 30,000 missions, excelling as a fighter, bomber, pathfinder, and photo-recon aircraft. The Mosquito wasn't just versatile, it was untouchable. Before the Mosquito, we must cover the Westland Whirlwind. This was Britain's first twin-engine, cannon-armed heavy fighter. Though hampered by engine development, its 4 20mm cannons made it devastatingly effective at low altitude, seeing specialized service as a fighter-bomber over the English Channel. Next up, the Bristol Beaufighter was a rugged, heavy twin-engine fighter. Armed with 4 cannons in the nose and capable of carrying torpedoes, it proved incredibly effective in the night fighter role and in anti-shipping strikes. The Bristol Blenheim was primarily a light bomber, but early war versions were quickly adapted into a heavy 4-gun fighter. Like the Defiant, it was quickly outperformed in the day role and shifted to night fighting and patrol. Finally, for the Fleet Air Arm, the Fairey Firefly was the main carrier fighter early in the war, notably employing a 2-man crew. It was eventually replaced by the Supermarine Spitfire, a navalized Spitfire, which became the backbone of the FAA, adapted for carrier operations with folding wings and a tailhook. By 1943, the RAF no longer fought for survival, it fought for dominance. This demanded faster, stronger, near-supersonic piston fighters, and finally, jets. Late war power, the high-speed evolution. The Hawker Tempest was the ultimate British piston-engine fighter. Designed as the successor to the Typhoon, it was powered by the monstrous Napier Sabre engine. It was one of the fastest piston fighters at low and medium altitude, making it the most effective Allied aircraft for hunting down the German V-1 flying bombs. Before the Tempest, the Hawker Typhoon was initially plagued by engine issues, but found its true calling as a low-level fighter-bomber. Equipped with massive RP-3 rockets, it became the most feared ground attack aircraft of the Normandy campaign. This relentless pursuit of speed culminated in Britain's own jet program. The Gloster Meteor was the RAF's first operational jet fighter. Though it arrived late in the war, it was deployed primarily for defense against the V-1 rockets and was the only Allied jet to see combat in World War II. Finally, the de Havilland Vampire was an advanced jet fighter prototype with a distinctive twin-boom design, ready for operational service just as the war ended. The story of British fighters is one of constant, brilliant evolution. From the desperate defense fought by the Hurricane and Spitfire to the unstoppable power of the Tempest and the technological leap of the Gloster Meteor, the RAF consistently fielded world-class interceptors. These machines didn't just defend a nation, they demonstrated the technological might required to win the air war against the Axis powers. Next time, we continue our deep dive into the Allied arsenal with every British bomber aircraft used in World War II.